As the world's population continues to grow whilst at the same time having higher living standards, it's inevitable that the demand for energy supplies will continue to increase. We need to examine different strategies to increase the energy supply in order to meet the demand. Generally speaking, there are two main ways in which we can increase energy supplies. On the one hand, we can continue to exploit non-renewable fossil fuels, like coal, oil, and gas, whilst developing nuclear power. On the other hand, we can further develop and increase the use of sustainable, renewable energy sources, like solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. There are a number of different renewable energy sources to choose from. Each will have different requirements, such as their location, and each may have some negative aspects that need to be considered and balanced against the overarching benefit of their renewability. Solar energy is generated through the conversion of sunlight into energy through photovoltaic cells, with many of these shooting up on the roofs of houses around the world. As long as there's daylight, energy can be generated, so not ideal at night time. There is tremendous potential of LICs with high levels of sunshine, but in order to generate sufficient quantities of energy, there's a need to cover vast areas with solar panels. Seasonal production in higher latitude countries also reduces the panel's efficiency. Wind power has tremendous potential, both onshore and offshore, if a country isn't landlocked. Turbine design has developed to the point where wind speeds as low as 7 miles per hour are needed to turn the vast turbine blades. As long as there's air movement, there's the potential to generate electricity. The UK has developed tremendous offshore wind farms, such as Hornsea 1 and Hornsea 2, the latter becoming the largest offshore wind farm in the world, producing enough energy to supply 1.4 million homes. Hydroelectric power is generated through dams, both large and small, creating energy when water turns turbines set within the structures. HEP has contributed significantly to renewable global energy, but does need the right conditions and location to be economically viable. Large dams are very expensive to construct, sometimes leading to large debts in LICs. They can cause issues around the flooding of land behind the dam, whereas microdams are becoming more popular and cost-effective at a local scale. Tidal energy has tremendous potential for countries with a coastline and a good tidal range. Dams are built across river estuaries and simply use the rising and falling tides to generate electricity. These tidal barrages cost a great deal of money, and there are environmental concerns where the barrage has had a detrimental effect on the flora and fauna of the river ecosystem. Wave energy at the coast is also a possibility, with hundreds of thousands of miles of coastline around the world. Geothermal energy comes from water that comes into contact with underground hot rocks, creating steam that rises to drive turbines. This form of energy, however, is quite limited to tectonically active countries. The USA, Philippines, New Zealand, and Iceland, where geothermal energy accounts for 30% of the country's total energy, are a few countries that can use this natural form of energy production. Biomass is another form of renewable energy, but can prove controversial. Land is often used to grow biofuels, such as sugarcane, rather than growing crops for the population. The burning of the fuels is also a very smoky process and has led to issues around deforestation, most recently at Drax Power Station in North Yorkshire, who's been accused of cutting down primary forests in Canada to feed the power plant. Drax has stated that it only uses sawdust and waste wood to create the pellets for their power plant. Overall, non-renewable resources are unsustainable and will become economically and environmentally unviable. Nuclear energy is increasingly looked at to fill energy gaps, but the power stations are expensive and complex to build, whilst at the same time causing a concern around the radioactivity of the waste that's produced. We need to look carefully at all the different renewable energy opportunities in order to create a more sustainable future.